Where I actually see it being useful is imagine that I'm building a build for a contest, and I'm copying one of these builder boards that I have. The whole 5% rule actually quickly comes into place, where other people have to get credits for a build that I made because I've used their tools. So what I really would want is to have my own tools and not have something that I've copied from someone else, if you know what I mean.
Of course. Yeah, look, I can teach you to make any one of them. It's a process that probably takes about an hour to create, but once you've got them, they're pretty useful. So we'll sit down and we'll run through that. Basically, we have to make. Well, actually, that's an interesting question because, okay, you just said that. For example, if I made the voxel forge, right,
Yeah.
and then you used voxel putty to put the putty in the middle of the voxel forge, and then you copied the shape, used it, would that be your shape or my shape?
I think if
because you're not using. That's an interesting question. I mean, it would be very interesting to learn about how those rules actually.
yeah, I think we should get the devs to point it out a bit more, exactly how the rules apply.
Yeah.
Because, you know, for example, another game that is voxel based in some sort is Second Life. And what you could do there at one point is that, for example, if I have, because in that game you were able to link voxels together. I can hear my own voice now.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. So I got these 4 voxels here. And if I were to, let's say that the 3 voxels that are connected, you have created them. And the
Yep.
1 voxel here, that's one that I have created.
Yep.
If I link these voxels together, by what you could do in that game is select all the voxels, and then you could link them, and you could just select them by shift clicking. So for example, first I could select the 3 ones here. You can't see my selection tool now, but they can on the stream. And then afterwards I could hold down shift and I could select this this other voxel here. I wonder if we can do that in the game. Oh, we can't. And the most recent voxel that I have selected is going to be the anchor for the link. And that one would turn blue when you link it, and the rest would be yellow. And at that point, the name of the name of who has actually built this would be me. Mm-hmm. So even though that you in this case have built 75% more than me, I would still be standing as the actual builder of the entire build.
Okay.
And there's pros and cons to that, I think.
See, my understanding of the principle, how they run it at the moment is, oddly enough, is it works on the content, okay, which is if it's your sand, if it's your rock, if it's your whatever, then that makes it yours, right? Now, if you paste it from a template, like if you copy my template and you paste it somewhere else, but you use your rock, your sand, whatever, that actually counts as being mine because it's the same resource. So if you paste something, because like for example, if you paste something next to somebody else's, it doesn't automatically immediately make it theirs because you'd have a chain effect. Imagine if you were building one of the landmarks for Landmark and you had John build the entire solid base because it was just a solid brick of stone, and he's like, I want to contribute, and he's like, here you go, here's my reason, and you put a stone, you started building on top of it. Every time you added a voxel, if it inherited the attributes from the voxel next to it, then all that work would get attributed to John. So any voxel that you place, I think, with your resources actually comes from your attribution. If somebody like John puts down that giant block and then you smooth it and you reshape it, he still gets credit because it came from his resource store and it has his name, the monetized object being the resource.
Do you think that's the way it works right now? Because if it is that way, then I think it's great. Then I see no issues. But I just heard someone say that, you know, the originally built voxel is still sticking to that person's name. So if I copied this voxel here, this single voxel from this thing you just have, and place that here. Let's say that this voxel that I just copied from you was you're the originator of this one.
Yep.
If I use this one voxel to build my entire claim, I didn't, you know, place anything with the add tool. I just used your voxel. Then the 100% of my claim would be built by you, actually.
No,
That's the way I understand
the
it.
concept. I don't think it goes that way at the moment because of the fact that you post that voxel there, right? And then you paste a voxel next to it, and that voxel changes once the voxel. Does that make sense? Because it's no longer the same voxel it was, because you've changed its shape. So, I mean, that would be like if I paste a voxel and you paste something next to it, do you suddenly own the voxel that I pasted because you've changed its shape? No, you can't run it like that. It runs off content. They do want to tighten it up. I think it's part of the reason why the monetization of templates hasn't come in yet, is because at the moment they don't have the ability to give ownership of a template. If you place the template down, make a copy of it into your own templates and then use it, it becomes your template, which makes it very hard for them to, do that continuity that they were lacking, where it's like, well, if I build a tower and then I join it, and I use that tower 4 times, and I join it to other walls and stuff, and then somebody takes a copy of that entire castle, does the maker of the tower get credit? Well, the reality at the moment is, no, the system can't handle it. The system doesn't know. But they want it to know so that people like me, who are like, here's 1,000 million different shapes that you can use for all sorts of things, and teach people all sorts of ways to use them, don't find that people have gone and used them 5,000 different times and just made a copy of my original, and therefore I get no credit.
Yeah, I see both
Does that make
ways.
sense?
Yeah, it does.
It's just for things like, for example, if I create a tower and then somebody uses that tower to make a castle, then do I get any credit for making the tower that that person used in their castle?
I think you
that
should.
bit, yeah. Whereas if it's like I make a shape, which is a single voxel, and then you use it to make another shape, you should certainly get, you should get total credit for the shape you make, even if you use my shape to make it. That seems quite reasonable to me. So if somebody wanted to go and make a cube from a cube, which you can do, and then keep that, that should totally be their credit. So I'm thinking what it's probably going to be is there'll be a size, like a template is maybe 50 voxels or something like that, is then becomes an owned product. If you change it or alter it or use it in somewhere else, the original person gets credit.